Last time on Overunder.
Joseph Memmer Clanton, he got a rather curious letter in the mail for a debt once accrued. What's a hearse doing out here? Who picks up people in a hearse?
I've been asked to come to this quaint town for business.
And that feller next to you?
Call me Cleric.
I'm gonna split off on my own. I wanna try and find the person who sent the letter.
I want to continue looking for Xavier.
Going to the general store and trying to find a place to sleep.
Okay, so recap of last week. So, last week, Walker, John Walker, played by Final, who is sadly unable to join us today. Walker stayed the night in the new church of Overunder for his first night in town. Edward and Thomas, the next day, Edward and Thomas met on the road and rode into town together, and then decided to split up shortly thereafter. Marcus, on his way into town, picked up Cleric and Joseph much later on. So while all of that was happening, people were coming into town, Walker decided to explore the town and learn the location of the bed and breakfast, as well as the origin of the graveyard. Marcus picked up Joseph on the way to Overunder, and Joseph discovered that the cart that Marcus was driving was in fact a hearse, much to everyone's. There was mixed emotions in that. Anyways, Edward went off to go find Xavier, and Thomas stopped by the blacksmith. Edward went to the Mercury Post asking about Xavier and was turned away. John didn't have much better luck at the stable when he went and talked to the stable boy. Thomas stopped by General Dollar's Dollar General to get some supplies. Marcus, Joseph, and Cleric all made it into town together.
My favorite guy.
Towards the end of the evening last time, the three made it into town and then decided to split up. Marcus went, you are pretty much in the midst of putting up your horse and hearse at the Riverbend stable. Joseph, you are heading off to the Overunder Tap House, and we left off at the very end with Cleric stepping up to the bounty board outside the sheriff's office to find the poster slash ad slash just bounty posting, I guess. A $250, which, let me pull up ye old-timey calculator, $250 to $4,547.21.
33 cents. Oh, okay.
21. You got you.
I like 33 cents.
I'm looking at 1867's exchange rate. And I guess I can post in
That's a lot. You could buy a lot of beer with that.
You could buy a lot of beer with
At
that.
least 3 beer.
I'm in. I'm in.
You could buy at least 3 beer with that. You could buy some bear with that too. Good Lord, have mercy. I actually have a question for you, my dude. It just occurred to me, you have no face, so you technically, can you read that wanted poster, good sir?
I mean, the way I see is by using magic, right?
Yeah, so I guess. So yeah, I mean,
Okay.
yeah.
I thought about it before I asked to read them. I didn't just say I want to read and forget that I was blind. No, I thought about it beforehand. I'm like, yeah, this should make sense.
The blind man saw you getting away. Wait, hold on.
Wait, what?
Wait, I thought you were just hiding your face. You don't have a face?
I didn't say I don't have a face. I didn't say that.
For the sake of simplicity, I rounded it up to he doesn't have a face or appears to have a face. So, let's
Concerning.
So let's start with Cleric then, I guess. You read the wanted poster. What do you do now?
Is there anybody around?
Yeah, there are a couple people walking around the street. It's shortly after shift change / close of business. Everybody's kind of just lollygagging off now.
Is there an officer, or not officer, but sheriff or deputy sitting outside of the station, or are they just all inside?
There's one standing outside the station, I think. Oh no.
Good. Fuck it. I'm just gonna take it down and see what happens. I'm not gonna try to hide or anything. I'm just gonna take that down and fold it up, put it in my pocket.
The deputy that's standing right there, actually, okay. We're gonna, oh dear, this fine, upstanding gentleman, and we're going to see if
This goes, oh, you got a permit for that?
We're gonna see if he notices. We're gonna see if he notices.
Oh boy.
Okay, so let's.
Oh man,
makes
he
it
marks
easier.
experience.
The max experience. Okay, so
He'll be a level 2 NPC civilian before we know it.
Yep.
the
Purely
funny
off
thing
of
is,
just not
he's-
seeing things I do.
The funny thing is he is a level 2. Anyways,
He'll be level 3 soon.
Wait, what?
you think that all the NPCs you encounter in this town are just level 1? Oh.
Yes.
No,
Well, I
I
mean,
just imagine
assume-
someone with
I'm
that
sure,
bad
like,
of a
the
roll
old
was-
general, he's probably like a level 14 or something.
No, he's actually
No.
the final boss of the campaign. He's
Yeah,
level 20.
True.
Yeah.
Hey
Okay,
there, are you ready to fight me? Rips off his shirt with massive pecs.
The guy looks up at you, and he's wearing the tin star, but it's pinned onto the suspenders that are showing because he's not wearing a jacket. He's wearing suspended brown pants, and a white long sleeve shirt. The sleeves have been rolled up, and the tin star is on his suspenders, and he's wearing a bowler hat. And you see that the gun, he's got a gun holstered at his hip with bullets looped into the belt. And he looks up at you and he just smiles. He says, "Howdy." And he continues surveying the street as if nothing happened. So
Excellent.
let's bounce to Mr. Morgan. I'm curious. Actually, we haven't heard.
You mean Morningstar?
Yes, no, not Mr. Morgan, Mr. Morningstar. Marcus, you bring the hearse and the horse and hearse around and into the stable, and a young man comes and approaches you and says, "Well, howdy, mister. Are you staying here for the night? Or are you here for a while?"
I believe I will be staying a while at least. Business like this is never over quickly, sadly.
I
So-
see, and he peers around the back of the cart and sees the coffins, and he swallows hard and says, very cool. All right then. We have in order to just keep general upkeep of the place, I unfortunately must ask for payment in advance. If you find yourself leaving early, then you will be, of course, compensated. But it is a nickel to park your wagon and horse here for a week.
A nickel?
Yes, sir. 5 cents.
Yep, okay, he's just going to hand over 2.
All right. Thank you, sir. If you want me to, I can put away your horse and buggy for you, or you can. I know some people like to see to it themselves.
No, I trust you. You seem quite capable.
Well, thank you, sir. And he takes over for you, and you step out of the stable.
Yep.
Okay, Edward, you were turned
Yep.
down at the post office. Where did you go to? Or not post office? The
No,
newspaper.
they
The
didn't.
newspaper. Where did you go to next?
They were like, if I wanted any more information, I had to pay for an ad slot.
Yeah. So what are you gonna do, my dude?
Edward's gonna look at them and go, how much are one of these ad slots?
Oh, it depends if you want to be on the front page, and I don't know, 10, 15 cents. One of the back pages, 5, maybe 3 cents.
Edward will pull out 10 cents from his little pouch.
His man purse.
No, it's
not a
no,
man purse?
no. Why do you always do this to me? First of all,
I don't
you
know.
call
Why
Edward
did you
not
give yourself crotchless leather pants, Tech?
You know what? Fine. The chaps aren't asked. Are you happy now?
No, that was
I
canon. The
de-asked
moment you
the
moment you said that, it became canon. So it was never
No,
not canon.
I'm gonna de-ask the chaps.
What the fuck?
Are you ready to have your ass chaps de-asked?
So you are going to pay for a front page ad. Is that what I'm hearing?
By
The
front page ad, you mean they're giving me more than just what they've danced around?
Yes, especially if you paid them a little bit more than that. So, like, if you paid them 15 cents, then they would very much give you additional information, as well as put an ad in the paper if you actually wanted an ad in the paper.
What Edward's going to do is he's going to present the 10 cents, and then he's going to hold on to an extra 5 in, like, his hand to make it seem like if he's liking where this info's going, he will toss in some more.
All right. What exactly can we do you for? What would you like to know?
Well, I'm looking for a man called Xavier, as I said. Last I heard, he was around here back in December.
Yeah. So, I hate to break it to you, mister, but, did you say this man's a friend of yours?
Acquaintance.
I see. Are you a bounty hunter, mister?
No.
Well, he turns and walks over to his desk and pulls out a small clipping of a newspaper, and he walks over to you and he says, "This was put on the front page of the Mercury Post this morning." And he gives it to you, and it is a picture of it's the same picture that Cleric has currently. It's a picture of Xavier, $250 to be captured alive and turned into a U.S. Marshal.
He looks it over and goes, I don't suppose you have any idea why this was placed here?
I don't particularly know. No. I can in fact tell you that it was a government type that came in here and said that this should be posted, and he was very official looking, and it definitely sounded like he was from the government out east. But no, I can't really tell you. Even if I did, I would tell you if I knew, but I don't.
Did I notice anything odd about that government man?
Mister, there's a lot of things that are odd about government men. No offense to any government men you may know, of course, mister. But no, nothing odd, not that I can think of.
Edward will set the other 5 cents down on the table and go, you have any idea where Xavier might have gone? Or has been? Any rumors?
He rubs his chin and runs his fingers through his short beard, and he says, I don't rightly know. And he looks back at the two people who are still working, and he says, Edward, Jesse, either you boys know anything about the bounty that got placed earlier? And they both look at each other, and then they both look at the guy, and they shake their heads, and then they go back to work. And I want you to roll wisdom to see if you can tell if anything is off about their demeanor. Roll wisdom.
14.
All right, so 14, you can tell that they might know something more, but then again, it's hard to tell. They're both look like they're kind of half concentrated on what they're doing as well as the conversation that's going on. So they might know something, they might not, but you would err on the side of yes.
Edward will say, either I would put in a nice tip if either your boys knew something,
Hold on, I gotta roll.
as he puts his hand back towards his pocket.
Okay, I gotta roll. The one on the right kind of looks over at you, and then back at what he's doing, and then back over at you, and he says, I heard rumor that the last time he was saw in town, he was seen walking into the Overunder tap house, and then that was the last place that anybody really saw him before he allegedly split town.
Edward will pull out 2 cents from his pocket and toss them over towards the one who told him that.
Alrighty. Do you leave?
And
or do
Edward
you go?
will give a little tip of his hat and say, thank you for your information, as he walks out and back to his horse, having spent a total of 17 cents. Alright, I'm gonna hop on Gregory, my horse.
We're
and head
sticking
to the
with
tap house.
Gregory? Really?
Yeah, we're sticking with Gregory.
Fine.
Why not? Edward and Gregory.
Because that's...
Do you have a better suggestion for my horse's name?
Lancelot.
Sean.
Fred. Name the horse Fred.
Do not name
like
it
this.
Fred.
Fred is a
Fred
great
is an
name.
excellent name for a horse.
All right.
I will have
What
you
about
know.
Freddy?
Frederick.
Fred, I was gonna say, if you name it Fred, it has to be short for Frederick, but I do not. I mean,
all right,
okay,
let's go with Frederick, with Fred for short.
Name it after your father so he can let you down one last time.
No.
All right, Joe, it's time for you to stop.
No idea what we're talking about, mister.
So yeah, we'll go with Frederick. Yeah, down to the tap house.
Okie dokie. Do you know where the tap house is?
You know what? He's gonna.
Actually,
Edward would have asked before.
Actually, you
he
passed
left.
right by it. You passed right by it.
Oh yes, I did. So I'll just go down to the tap house.
Yep.
It's the place to be. Maybe we'll run into each other.
Oh, maybe we
possible.
will.
All right. Let's jump over to Father Thomas Kane. You conclude your affairs at the General's General Store, or otherwise known as Dollar Demonetized, and you make your way back to the blacksmith to pick up your horse, unless you want to make any other stops.
Is there a place I can get drunk?
Yep, as you pick up your horse and pay for it, which the reshoeing of your horse cost $2.50 for a set of new horseshoes, and he cleaned up the horse and everything. So $2.50 from your wallet, and as you pick up your horse, you saunter on out into the street, and you notice that the tap house is nearby, and so you ride on over, hitch your horse, and I'll let you decide whether or not you head into the tap house or not.
Well, does the tap house also have like rooms for rent?
Yes, as a matter of fact, it does.
Alright, I'm gonna go in then,
Okie dokie.
and then I'm gonna talk to whoever's in charge of that place.
Jackson.
Okay, do you go to the barkeep or try to find the manager straight off?
I'll go to the barkeep, see what he knows.
Cool. You step on up to the bar, and a kind of your classic saloon bartender turns to greet you, apron, well dressed, wearing an apron, hair parted, kind of that handlebar mustache, or with like the curly tips. You know, your standard saloon bartender, the stereotypical Western interpretation, so on and so forth. Anyways, you approach the bar. He turns and he nods to you and says, what'll it be?
Yeah, can I get a room for rent for a couple nights?
He stops polishing his glass, and he kind of scratches the side of his face with his thumb that's not covered by the rag, and he says, let me check real quick and make sure that all the rooms aren't taken. And he sets the glass and rag down, and he goes underneath looks underneath the bar for a moment. And as you do that, you hear the doors creak open, and you watch as a man in what is now a very dirty white shirt comes in. One could even call it a workman's shirt, and a rather almost comically large hat, but not so comical. A hat that looks not too dissimilar from a sombrero, a wide-brimmed hat. And Mr. Joseph has entered the building. So as the barkeep looks and checks, Joseph, what are you going to do as you enter the tap house?
Why, I think I'm gonna go straight up to the barkeep and ask myself a beer. Get myself a beer. It's one of those days, you know? Been a long walk and riding a hearse.
You walk up and stand beside Thomas, though you guys don't know each other's names. And shortly thereafter, the door swings open again, and you watch as Edward enters the building. Edward, what do you do? You do see Thomas, who you recognize, but otherwise all faces are kind of new.
Edward would give Thomas a nod before continuing up to the bar because he wants him to wait for the bartender's attention so he can ask a question.
Okie dokie. The bartender comes up from behind the counter and looks at the now three people who are kind of leaning in front of him, and he looks at you, Thomas, and says, we got a couple rooms for rent, but they'll be, give or take, 20 cents a night.
That is ridiculously expensive, but okay.
Well, we have some additional luxuries that you will be privy to. If you do not wish to be privy to those luxuries, such as the bath that we have on site, then you are more than welcome to downgrade your stay to a mere 5 cents a night. and you can pay for whenever you want to use the bath.
Alright, 20 cents it is.
Kind of, his eyebrows kind of raise at the, at your demeanor, and he smiles and says, "There's one way to go about it." And he takes 20 cents from you, and he slides you the key, or a key, and says, "You're gonna be in room 2A. Just going up the stairs right over yonder," and he gestures off to his left where there's a set of stairs against the wall. Head over yonder, take the turn to your right, and it should be the last door on the right down the hall.
He's gonna take the key, say thank you, and ask if we can get a beer.
He nods, and he he pours you a glass of beer, and he slides it to you and says, "This one's on the house for your first night. Remember to return the glass."
Thank you, Hoss.
"Of course. Enjoy your stay. Now, how can I be of service to you two gentlemen?" And he addresses Joseph and Edward.
Actually have quite similar desires as my gentleman next to me. I'll take a room and one beer. For now.
He nods and says, "Will you as well be experiencing the finest things that the tap house can offer you for 20 cents a night, or would you like to pay per use on the bath and just experience a simple stay with us?"
As I'm sure your facilities are of the top quality, unfortunately, due to my stay in town being ideally limited, I'll just be taking the more basic amenities for now. Understand, I still need money to get back home, much as I love this lovely town of yours.
He nods and says, "Of course, of course. Let me," he reaches down and picks up another key from under the desk after taking 5 cents from you, and he gives you the key, and he says, "You will be in room 2D. That will be up the stairs yonder where your fellow cowpoke is just gone. You will hang a left at the top of the stairs, and it should be the second door down on your left."
2D or not 2D? That is the question. Thank you very much, sir.
Ponder it over a beer, and he slides you a beer, and he says, "On the house. Enjoy your stay."
Appreciate it. He's gonna make a little nudge with his bottle towards Thomas, sort of like a toast from afar, like, "Hey, how's it going?" And start taking a drink.
I mean, we're right to each other.
Oh, I thought
Yeah.
I thought you had gone upstairs. My bad. Okay. In that
No,
case-
he's just standing there drinking, ignoring everybody else.
Okay. Edward, he looks to you now and he says, "And how can I assist you, sir? Perhaps a room?"
I wanted to ask a question first before I get to all that business. Have you heard of, I heard that a while back, a man by the name of Xavier was here. You know anything about him?
Sidebar, both Joseph and Thomas are close enough to hear you talk, unless you make it a point to not talk loud enough, or to talk close enough to him that they can't hear you.
I would say he's talking in a voice that, like, probably the other end of the bar couldn't hear him, but, like, the people immediately around him, like the bartender and them, could.
Okay. He starts polishing his glass nervously. Once more, he picks up a rag and the glass he was working on, and he polishes it and inspects it, and he says, "Xavier, well, I can't say we get too many folks around here with that specific name. You got a general description of him?"
So Edward will pull out the paper from the newspaper clipping, but he's folded it that it's just the picture that would be shown.
Smart.
And he slides it across. So, like, all the bounty and reward stuff is folded underneath the paper.
Right. And go ahead. Never mind. Okay, I do want to take kind of a sidebar moment to remind you guys that you guys can roll your different attributes at will. So if you want to like do something and say, I want to do this thing and I'm going to roll this as you do it to make it more believable, not necessarily more believable, but to add in an element of chance to it. The benefit or reward that you may reap from doing that may be substantially better than what you're doing without. So, like, if you were having this conversation, for example, and no, you can't go backsies. If you're
One
having
thing
this
I'm
conversation and you had rolled charisma to try and charm the bartender into giving you information, then if you had rolled, depending on how you had rolled, you would probably get more information out of him than you are about to. Does that make sense?
So, yeah.
Yeah.
One thing I want to do though is I want to roll wisdom to try and determine why he's so nervous
Okay, go ahead.
as he looks at the paper. Nope. That's experience.
Yep, that is a 6, and that falls within the 9 to 2 failure category. So mark experience on your character sheet. Okay, so you can't really tell, and he kind of bends over and he stops polishing his glass for a moment, and he looks at it and he says, he looks kind of familiar, but not necessarily. I mean, he looks about as familiar as some of the semi-regulars coming in here, but then again, everybody, once their beard gets about that long, everybody starts having the same face. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
Am I able to see the paper at all, or is he
It's-
keeping it hidden?
It's on the counter. You could probably see it if you looked over.
Seeing as this man is drawing attention to his question making, can I look at the paper from afar?
I mean, are you afar? Last time I checked, you were right next to him.
True,
was
I'm not
like-
gonna peer over and look at it right in front of him.
Okay, then yeah, you can look at it from afar.
How I imagined it is Thomas is in the middle of the two of us.
We sound either side of him.
Yeah, that's how I imagined it.
Whatever, wherever, however you want to do it.
So wait, I'm just
Say,
surrounded by these two strangers.
I mean, they're
hey,
not.
one of them's a little less stranger than the other one.
True. You rode into town with at least one of them.
Oh yeah, you're best friends now.
No, we're at least on a not entirely stranger. Still stranger, but less.
I have no
stranger.
idea who you people are.
So Joseph, you see that you're green. You see the paper. What do you do?
I think I'm going to bring my beer a little bit closer to my chest, so to speak, and simply see where this goes as I try to now figure out what exactly the relationship is between the man next to me, the man I'm supposed to be here for, and the barkeep.
Okay.
Edward would. Oh.
No, go for it.
I was just going to do something. If you have something else you want to say, you say.
Absolutely not. I realize my intelligence and wisdom are hot garbage.
I'm the exact opposite. So, Sigma, Edward's gonna like gesture towards the paper and go, "Yeah, are you sure you haven't seen him? I hear he's here about back in December, and this was one of the last places he was seen. And I would like to roll to charm him into perhaps recollecting something about it.
All right. Go ahead and roll plus charisma.
I have a see the bigger picture, which lets me roll intelligence to charm instead. Ha! I accounted for my weaknesses, Sigma.
Yeah, you say that now.
15.
15 is a mixed 6. Oh wait, no, 15 and up is a total success. So, what was the question? One more time.
It was so Edward had like gestured to the picture again, and he went, Are you sure you don't know anything about him? He was last seen here in December in this building.
Okay. He kind of purses his lips and then looks at you and says, I think I might be able to remember some things. I think so. He looks like the guy that kind of wrecked shop around that time. Kind of went just bananas. But then again, I could be wrong. I could be wrong. He shrugs and he continues polishing. He finishes polishing the glass and he sets it back behind the bar and he picks up another one and he begins polishing again.
You say wrecked shop, as in trash the place?
Let's put it this way. None of these mirrors are old, and neither are the tables or chairs.
Do you know any reason why that happened?
Do I look like a psychic to you, mister?
So you're saying he just wrecked shop for no reason?
Look, man, you know where you are, right? You're in a tap house. You're someplace where, like, these two gentlemen here, and he gestures kind of finger gun style to Thomas and Joseph. You're here to have alcohol, possibly get drunk, and unfortunately, a side effect of getting drunk, and he takes his hands back and continues polishing the glass he has in his hand. A side effect to getting drunk is that you kind of lose your sense of self and start doing things that you normally would not do, such as shooting up and trashing a reasonably hospitable and nice local establishment.
Do you know where he went after he wrecked shop?
He stops polishing and he says, "No, I don't."
What would it be wisdom to determine if he's not telling the full truth?
Yes, it would. Come on, you have such a high wisdom, you tell me.
Every time. So
17!
funny.
Tell me,
17.
Sigma!
He is straight-faced lying to your face. Like there is not a flinch of movement on his face indicating that he would be, and anybody who did not score as high as you did would not be able to tell, but that man is dead lying.
Edward will look at him and he will go, I don't know whatever happened, but lying to a man, deadpan, is just kind of insult.
Mister, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know where that man went, and I can't help you no further. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have other customers to attend to. And he walks down the bar to attend to a couple of cowboys that just walked in the door.
So, mister, Joseph says, turning to the left. Sounds like you have a problem on your hands.
What's it to you?
Well, that very much depends, and this will very much impact how our conversation will go on what exactly you want with that man you're looking for.
That man, I owe a favor.
And I think I'm in occurrence and concurrence with you on that remark.
Good morning, evening, or afternoon. My name is Sigma. Welcome back to the little intermission. Stand up, stretch your legs, and take a break for a second before we jump back into the rest of the podcast program. So before we get into said rest of program and episode, let me ask you a couple questions really quick. Question number 1 is, have you followed us on social media yet? Our Facebook and Twitter is fairly active, and we enjoy engaging with our audience. So if you haven't followed the Twitter or gone and followed the Facebook page, the links are in the description of the video, and they should be in the description of the podcast. If they're not, then please go to Facebook or Twitter and let me know. You can find us at Tavern Co. or at Tavern_Co. On Twitter, and then the Sigma and Company Tavern Facebook page is also there, so go check us out there. My second question is, have you ever considered supporting the channel? Support can come in a couple different forms. Non-monetary, which is the one that most people prefer, is liking, sharing, commenting, subscribing, all of your standard, likes, comment, subscribe, hype YouTuber stuff. You know what I'm talking about. But the biggest thing is sharing. Word of mouth is the biggest way that we're spreading the podcast right now, so sharing with your friends is a big deal. The second thing that you can do is leave a review. So there are different ways to leave reviews on iTunes, on Spotify, on iHeartRadio, things like that. Leaving a review helps us tremendously, and it would be awesome if you did it. Thank you in advance. If you want to support us with money, you can head over to Buy Me a Coffee or Patreon, and I believe there's content that already explains what all that is about, so I won't go into it here. My last question for you is, have you ever considered starting your own podcast? A lot of people find it daunting at first, especially when they look up a guide. It's like, it's easy, just follow these simple steps. And then it throws a bunch of technical jargon at you, and you're then instantly terrified again. It's no longer easy. Well, I've got a solution to fix that. Buzzsprout. It is an online web service that allows you to upload your MP3 files, which when you record something and it's not a video, it generally exports as an MP3 or a sound file. It allows you to upload your sound files to their website. They hold on to it for you. And what happens is they direct you in easy, simple to follow, picture-guided steps on how to upload, or rather how to tell podcasting platforms where to grab the sound files from. So for example, if I wanted to upload an episode of our Overunder campaign, I could upload the MP3 file to Buzzsprout, then submit the RSS feed to a streaming platform, and then the RSS feed basically is a line of code that tells Apple Podcasts or Spotify where to go for the sound file. They go get the sound file, they pull it to their platform, and then boom, like magic, except internet, I now have another episode of Overunder on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts. So if you are thinking about starting up your own podcast, which I highly recommend that everybody at least gives it a shot, just because it is a unique experience to say the least. You'll figure out whether it's something you like to do, if it's something you don't like to do, if you're really good at being creative but not so great at being technical. You'll find that out about yourself through trying to make your own podcast. And if you try to make your own podcast, I recommend that you go through the link in the description below to not only support our show, because using our link lets them know that we sent you, but also to use one of the friendliest or user-friendly web services for podcasting out there. So go check them out through the link in the description below, and go check out Buzzsprout, podcasting made easy. All right, before you go back to the episode, which I know you're chomping at the bit to finish it, I just want to remind you guys that we are live every Saturday night at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific time for a new episode of Overunder. If we ever have to change the time, or if we ever have to cancel, we will let you guys know through Twitter and Facebook, so that's just another reason why you should go follow those socials. We will be uploading Overunder episodes every Tuesday to the YouTube and the streaming platforms, so wherever you get your podcasts, and then exclusively to YouTube, you guys will have Star Wars episodes every Wednesday for the foreseeable future. So I hope you guys have been enjoying all of the series the Tavern has to offer, and we hope that continues. So Take care, have a wonderful day, and enjoy the rest of the episode. Okay, I think it is best we bounce to Mr. Morningstar. So it is getting kind of later on in the evening. Sun is about to crest the horizon and sink the valley into inky blackness. You just dropped your hearse, and I want to say hearse and buggy, but it's horse and buggy, horse and hearse. Help me. Okay. You dropped it off at the Riverbend stable and walked back down 45th Street, passing the bank on your right, as well as the jewelry store, and then Town Hall on your left. You make it to the corner of 45th and Main. What do you decide to do? And by the way, noise has started to grow from... Actually, it's both, but the more readily available source of noise, or I should say the more visible source of noise, is the tap house that's down Main Street.
Let's see. So yeah, I guess the smart thing to do would be go there.
I mean, it's all up to you. I made this town so that you guys could kind of sort it all out and go where you wanted, but if you want to head to the tap house, then go for it. No, but...
Mr. Morningstar should probably get something to drink first. As that's something he needs to do, doesn't he?
Not quite yet. It's getting on, but not quite yet.
Okay then. So he's just going to calmly make his way to the tap house.
Okie dokie. Okay, you enter in time to watch as the barkeep turns away from three gentlemen down at the end of the bar. Actually, turns away from Joseph and two other gentlemen down at the end of the bar to attend to some cowboys that appeared to have entered just before you. You survey the scene, and that's pretty much all there is. What do you do from there?
Let's see. He recognizes Joseph, and so, yeah, he's gonna go over and sit near him.
Okay, you lean up against the bar, or unless so do you sit at a table nearby to him, or do you just go to the bar because that's where he is? He's leaning against the bar.
He's gonna go to the bar.
Okay, cool. Cleric,
One.
where have you been?
Wandering around town, getting a lay of the land.
Okie dokie.
Trying to understand where I'm at and what's relevant.
Okie dokie. Go ahead and roll plus wisdom to see how much you pick up of the town. Unless you want to make an argument for intelligence. I'll accept an argument for either. But wisdom is the one that you would roll by default.
We'll just go with default because it's a bit higher. How about a 22 work?
Woo! It works just good. Okay. You get a very good layout of the land. You're able to kind of, as it gets dark and darker, you're able to kind of steal through the streets and not be noticed quite as much. But you get a good lay of the town. You can ask me about 3 of the establishments that are in town,
Okay.
and I will answer them to the best of your abilities, I should say.
Mm-hmm. So I can ask about any of them.
Correct, because you saw most of them / all of them.
Got it. How extensive is the library?
Did you go into the library?
I would have. I feel like that's an important one. At least my character would view that as important.
You take a look into the library just before it closes, because a young man with Coke bottle glasses and a yellow shirt and suspenders is kind of closing up shop for the day. You take a look in there, and through your brief browse of the shelves, it's more extensive than you thought it would be for a frontier town, but it's nothing like big city libraries. You would have, like, the one you would be most familiar with is probably Denver, from where you're coming from, And yeah, no, it's nothing as close to that kind of library, but it's definitely like you've got some history, you've got some novels, just a wide variety, but a small wide variety. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
Next question would be about, does the graveyard count as a building?
Yes, it does.
Okay. Is there anything other than humans registered as being buried there?
No, there are no tombstones that are marked as non-human.
Okay. And then this question's kind of something I would know based off of the first one. Are there any new graves? Or first I should ask, does that question expend my third question slot? Because I assume it'd be something I'd see as I'm wandering around looking
Yeah,
to
I'll
see
give
who
that
was
one to
buried.
you.
Okay, cool.
There are not.
Okay. The last one. This is a bit out of character. Is B and J supposed to stand for something that I am aware of?
The
or
bowler and jacket.
Got it. Okay. The Church of Overunder.
Yes.
How? What's their kind of legalism meter, I guess? Are they going to be a problem for someone like me is what I guess my main question there is.
I mean, obviously you can't set foot in there.
Mm-hmm.
Being the race that you are, but I will say that upon peering through the windows, it does not appear like there are implements or any kind of anti-mystical artifacts or anything like that on display at the altar or around the church.
Good. Okay. That is all.
Do you eventually end up at the tap house as well, or are you going to continue exploring the town, Cleric?
I have no reason to end up at the Tap House. It serves me no purpose, so I would not end up there.
Okay, where would you wind up finishing your layout scan of the town?
Most likely back at the library.
All right, at this point, it is closed.
Yup. That's not... Okay, how good's the lock is my first question.
This early? Really?
Hold on.
It's actually pretty late because this is nighttime tech, so
Yep.
it's not early.
But this early in the campaign.
It's not my fault. It's not a 24-hour library.
You try the lock, and after a good kick to the door, it doesn't budge.
How is the lock attached to the door? Like, is it a padlock on the outside, or is it a full-on locked door?
It's a full-on locked door.
Is there any way on the roof I could get in?
You scale the roof, and there is a skylight. It kind of look from afar. It kind of looks like a church. It's got a sloped roof, and then it's got like a little box sticking out of the top, kind of like a chimney, except it's a skylight box, and then it has like a pyramid-shaped roof on top of it. You know what I'm talking about?
Could I use my sword to... Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. Could I use my short sword to kind of remove the glass without breaking it?
You mean like cut away a circle in the glass, or like pry the window open?
Pry the window open.
I mean, those
Or
back then
out.
windows weren't. Yeah, I was about to say windows weren't made to like open and close.
Yeah. That's what
Go ahead and roll dexterity.
20.
Dirty 20. Okay. You're able to pry the glass off and set it aside gently, and for funsies, where's my dice? In that case, I rolled a nat 1, so the glass starts to skitter down the roof just as you remove like the second and third pane. The first one that you set down kind of starts sliding and it doesn't make any noise. It just starts to kind of like gently skitter down the roof and slide towards the edge of the roof. What do you do?
Can I safely grab it?
That's up to how you roll on dexterity, my dude. I mean, if you just let it go, there's a chance it might not shatter into a million pieces.
No, maybe just 500,000.
Yeah.
I'll try to snag it.
Okay.
But if it
Are
comes
you
between
prioritizing
myself
your
falling off,
health
I'm
or the
prioritizing
glasses?
my health.
Okay.
My health, 100%.
Okay. Cool.
10.
10. That is a partial success. So you manage, it skitters towards the edge of the roof. It slides off and begins to plummet towards the ground. And by the skin of your teeth, you succeed as you kind of half like baseball slide off the roof, holding onto the ledge, grabbing onto the glass pane before it plummets and crashes to the dirt road below. You gently put the pane back on the roof, ensuring that it's nestled kind of in the gutter of the roof so it won't go anywhere. You haul yourself up and you enter the library through the skylight. How do you enter the library?
Cool.
Do you have a rope or anything to lower yourself down, or do you just like jump down in there?
My bone's breakable.
I mean, you might have a faster healing rate, but yes.
I assume so. I just wanted to get that off the table and make sure. How far is the drop?
2 stories.
Oh, that's nothing. Okay. I'm just going to drop.
All right, you drop down, and as your feet alight on the floor, I need you to roll plus Constitution. 10, partial
10.
success against my main man's spellcasting modifier.
Wait, what?
Do, 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 do.
You want to run that one by us again, Sigma? Sigma?
Oh god, the librarian is a magician.
What do you mean? His spellcasting.
The librarian is a magician.
Librarians? Oh, it's Night Vale all over again.
It's all the knowledge from the books. He's consumed them.
I don't know. We'll see. It's not hard to beat a. Oh, yes, with a 19. Yes, yes, yes. That beats your 10 quite nicely, my dirty 25. All right. You are quickly. A lot of things happen at once. You are nauseated, stunned, and blinded all in one go as a brilliant flash of multicolored light. So think the Rainbow Bridge teleporter thingy I can't remember the name of, and probably shouldn't for copyright reasons, thing from the Thor movie. Like when the rainbow beam shoots to like from the cannon to like pick up Thor and stuff like that. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
It's like that
The
kind of
Bifrost.
no, not the
No.
You mean the tri-warm? The triple warm. Yeah.
the fry boss.
Sigma,
Yes.
I just want to say Bifrost is from Norse mythology.
Yeah, it's from
so
Norse
it's not-
mythology. It's not Disney copyrighted.
Okay.
It's
You never
copyrighted.
know.
I
They
do.
might have bought Norse mythology at this point. You never know.
They're not
I
that
mean-
rich.
Not yet. Anyways, okay. So kind of Bifrost colored magic, and you take 2. Actually, you won't take any harm.
Okay.
Actually, you take
I
1
have a
point of harm.
question.
Take 1
I have
point
a
of harm. Yes.
question. How exactly does rainbow lights harm a blind guy?
That's what's confusing, is that you can see the rainbow lights.
Okay,
I know
just
you're
checking.
blind. You see the rainbow light regardless.
Okay, just checking.
Oh man, don't you hate it when you suddenly gain sight?
And
Worst time of my life.
we're gonna say you're gonna be occupied for a few hours, so you won't be able to interact with the other folks until morning probably. But you wake up a few hours later, hogtied and hanging from the ceiling, suspended kind of over a reading table of all. Actually, it looks like the reading table was moved off to the side to ensure that you were suspended. And you look down, and beneath you there stands a young man that looks just like the older gentleman that had packed up. Actually, he looked older, but than him, but a younger version of who you thought was the librarian earlier, wearing the same yellow shirt, much baggier than what a almost a child his age would wear, and brown pants with suspenders holding them up. And he's twirling something in his fingers, and it looks like a stick the size about 12 inches long. And he's twirling it in his fingers, and he says, "Mister, you have no idea the repercussions of breaking into Encyclopedia's library."